In this video, I'm going to be discussing order of operations. Order of operations answers the question what to do first. So problems are solved in the following manner. Parentheses and brackets from the inside out, exponents, multiplication from left to right, division from left to right, addition from left to right, and subtraction from left to right, also known as, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. You say aunt, I say aunt, but it's the first letter of every word. It's also known as PEMDAS. Let's look at an example. I have 4 plus 3 times 5. So I have 4. I'm going to do 3 times 5 first because multiplication comes before addition. And note that you often want to put parentheses to keep things organized. So that's 4 plus 3 times 5, 15, equals 19. Let's look at the same example. Let's take 4 plus 3 times 5. Now, if we just decide to work this problem from left to right and ignore order of operation, we would have 4 plus 3, 7, times 5, equals 35. And that's not the right answer. So order of operations is necessary. Let's look at another example. I have 7 in brackets and then parentheses 5 times 3 plus 2 to the third. So feel free to pause video and work it along with me. So that equals 7 minus, we're going to work from the inside out, parentheses and brackets. You also might note that we alternate parentheses and brackets just to make it more organized. So I have 5 times 3, 15, plus 2 cubed equals 7 minus, have to work the brackets now, so that's 15 plus 2 cubed, which is just 2 times 2 times 2, equals 7 minus 15 plus 8. 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, 8. So it's 7 minus 23 equals a negative 16. Let's look at another example. Feel free to pause video. Okay, I have 36. I'm going to do parentheses first, divided by 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, 9, times 2, minus 6, equals 36. Still working in the parentheses. 9 times 2, 18, minus 6. Division first. Kind of want to rope that off with parentheses for organization. 36 divided by 18, 2, minus 6, negative 4. Let's look at another example. Feel free to pause video. So I have 360 minus 8 plus 12 divided by 5, working inside out. 8 plus 12, 20. Still working inside out from the parentheses. 360 minus 20, 340. So we have 340 divided by 5. I know 5 divides into 340 evenly because any number with a 0 on the end is divisible by 5. So let's do long division. 5 goes into 34 6 times. 5 goes into 8 into 48 times. So that equals 68. Let's look at another example. I have 3 over 7 divided by 8 over 7 plus a negative 3/5 times 1/3. So now we have parentheses here, but they don't really count because they're not really roping off anything. They're just to keep things organized because we have the negative signs. So in this case, we work the division first. In division of fractions, we use keep, change, change. That is, I'm going to keep this fraction, 3 over 7. I'm going to change that sign from the division to multiplication. I'm going to flip this second fraction, going to change it to 7 over 8. Bring the rest of it along, plus a negative 3 over 5, 1/3. So with this, since it's multiplication, I can just put this all over one denomination, all over one line. And that's 7 times 8. This is a long way, but I like to do this and not skip any steps. So the 7's cancel. I have 3 times 1, 3 over 8, plus a negative 3/5 times 1/3. So I have 3 over 8 plus, I'm going to do the same thing here, a negative 3 times 1 over 5 times 3. That equals 3/8 plus a negative 3 over 15. I really should have reduced that, so I can reduce it now. So that equals 3/8 minus 1 over 5. So that equals, I'm going to do this the brute force method of finding the least common denominator by just, it's really a shortcut as well, especially with small numbers like this. We'll go 5 times 8 and multiply this number to this fraction times 5, this fraction times 8. So it's going to be 3 times 5 over 8 times 5 minus 1 times 8 over 5 times 8. So that's going to be 15 over 40 minus 8 over 40. So that's going to be 7 over 40. No common factors between those two, so that's the answer in simplified form. Let's look at another example. Feel free to pause video. 8/3 times 1/6 plus 1/4 in parentheses. Well, we work parentheses first. We're going to use the same brute force method to find the common denominator because we can't add fractions. We cannot add fractions without a common denominator. So we have 8/3. I'm going to multiply this first one times 4, second one times 6. That's going to be 1 times 4 and 6 times 4 plus 1 times 6 and 4 times 6. So that equals 8/3. I'm just going to put these over the same line. So that's 1 times 4, 4 plus 1 times 6, 6 over 24. So that equals 8/3 times 10 over 24. So let's simplify these. I have 8. I'm going to put it all over one line. So I have 8 times 10 and 3 times 24. I know 8 goes into 24, so let's break down the 24. I have 8 times 10 all over 3 times 3 times 8. 3 times 8, 24. So I'm going to cancel these 8s. So that equals 1 times 10, 10. 3 times 3, 9. 10 over 9. Let's look at another example. Feel free to pause video. 3 times 5 over 9 in parentheses plus 1 minus 1/3. Note that 3 equals 3 over 1. Anything divided by 1 is itself. So we can do that so that we can combine these two and make that a fraction and combine it. So I have 3 over 1 times 5 over 9 plus 1 minus 1/3. I know 3 goes into 9, so I can break that down. Put it all over one line, so I have 3 times 5 over 1 times 3 times 3 plus 1 minus 1/3. So that equals, I'm going to cancel one of these 3's, 1, 1. That's going to give me 5 over 3 plus 1 minus 1/3. And so we can also note that 1 can be written as 3 over 3. Anything divided by itself is 1. So I have 5/3. Now, change that. That's a 3 over 3 minus a 1 over 3. We have 3 common denominators. I can put those over one line. So that's 5 plus 3 minus 1 over 3. 5 plus 3, 8 minus 1. 7 over 3. No common factors between 7 and 3, both prime numbers. So that's going to be the answer. Let's look at another example. 6 plus 8 plus 7 over 3 squared minus 4 minus a minus 5. So that can be written as 6 plus 8 plus 7 divided by 3 squared minus 4 minus a minus 5. So that equals 6 plus 8 plus 7, 15, divided by, of course we do division first. 8 plus 7, 15. But we do parentheses before we do division. So we do this 8 plus 7, 15. We have to do what's inside this parentheses as well. So we have 3 squared, which is 9, minus 4. Minus a negative 5. So that equals 6 plus 15. I'm going to bring that back. Divided by 9 minus 4, 5. Minus a negative 5. Minus minus is plus. Anytime you have an even number of negative signs, the sign becomes positive. So that becomes 6 plus 15 divided by 5, 3 plus 5. 6 plus 3, 9 plus 5, 14. Let's look at another example. Feel free to pause video. I have 3 plus, in brackets 15, divided by a negative 3 over 16. So that equals, I can rewrite this for clarity. I want to go 3 plus 15 divided by negative 3 and that's divided by 16. So all it is divided by 16. So that shows us what to do first. We have 3 plus 15 divided by negative 3 is negative 5. So we're going to divide that by 16. We got to work the brackets first. We have 3 plus negative 5 is negative 2 divided by 16. So that's negative 2 over 16. 16 is an even number, so I know it's divisible by 2. So I know it's 8 times 2. So that equals, I cancel those 2's. I have 1. That equals a negative out front over 8. Got to bring the negative sign out front. So the answer is a negative 1/8. Let's look at another example. Feel free to pause video. I have 7 minus 4 plus 6 over 2 squared plus 1 plus 5. So once again, we can rewrite that 7 minus 4 plus 6 divided by 2 squared plus 1 plus 5. So that equals 7 minus, parentheses first, 4 plus 6, 10, divided by 2 squared, which is 4, plus 1, plus 5. That equals 7 minus 10 divided by 5. 4 plus 1 is 5. 10 divided by 5 plus 5. You see I added another set of parentheses just to make things clearer. 7 minus 10 divided by 5 is just 7 minus 2 plus 5. So that equals 7 minus 2, 5 plus 5, 10. So that's PEMDAS. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, left to right. So that concludes this video. If this video was helpful to you, please take a moment to support the channel. Like, subscribe, share, and I want to hear from you. Please leave your questions and comments below. Thanks for tuning in, and have a nice day.